Good morning and welcome to Studio 73 Suffolk U News. I'm Stephanie Arante.
And I'm Michaela Pyers. Coming up, a decision has been made involving Suffolk University President Margaret McKenna and the Board of Trustees.
Also, a look at new neighbor in the Seaport area of Boston. First, our own Katie Martineau has a message for us.
Students are literally marching back and forth to avoid loitering charges and being kicked out of this area while they wait for the Board of Trustees to arrive when they will make their decision on President McKenna. We will have more of this coming up on Studio 73 News.
10 days into February and it finally feels like last winter.
Suffolk U News weather correspondent Rebecca Eshu has the latest on how cold it will be this weekend. Rebecca?
Last week it felt like spring, and now it's starting to feel like winter. Earlier this morning we had a couple flurries, but now they're starting to slow down. I'll let you know when the next chance for a winter storm is coming up in my weekend forecast.
Good morning, I'm Stephanie Arante.
And I'm Michaela Pyers.
Schools and businesses are still struggling to shovel their way out of the 2 snowstorms within the last week. Suffolk University reporter Shauna Newcomb has the story live from the Boston Common.
Thanks, Steph and Michaela. Well, the groundhog said that we should be expecting an early spring, but it's currently snowing right now, so I don't know how true that statement might be. Here alone in the Boston Common, we have snowbanks reaching well over a foot. Now, within the past few days, we've had 2 crippling snowstorms, which are classified as blizzards, which resulted in a few public school cancellations. Now, in order to be classified as a blizzard, there must be 3 requirements met, including extreme wind gusts, low visibility, and also duration. So, wind gusts, they need to reach over 35 miles per hour. With the combination of snowfall and severe wind, this can create low visibility. Over the weekend, the police were encouraging the general public to stay indoors, not to drive, not to try and go out on adventures and walk around because the visibility was less than a quarter of a mile. And with all of these conditions, it has to last longer than 3 hours for it to be considered a blizzard. Now, the city of Boston already has spent $7 million in snow evacuation. You can see and hear the sand that was needed to make the pathways and roads safer for drivers and pedestrians. Now, Bostonians are hoping that this year the winter won't be as bad as last, which in the end totaled up to a total of $38 million spent on snow evacuation. So here's for hoping, and until then, I'm Shauna Newcomb reporting live from the Boston Common. Back to you, Steph and Michaela.
Thank you, Shauna. Last year, the city of Boston spent $38 million of their snow budget. This year, $7 million of that budget has already been spent.
We're not into the heart of the winter season yet, and so far the first snowfall created havoc for mass transportation in the New England area.
Joining us live, Studio 73 reporter Lauren Berube. Lauren?
We've seen lots of heavy snow this week. Monday's storm caused Massachusetts state offices and schools to shut down. This also caused for some difficult travel conditions. More than 170 flights were canceled at Boston's Logan Airport and causing travelers delays from anywhere between 45 minutes to 2.5 hours. I spoke with a flight attendant for JetBlue, and she said in situations where there's delays like this, they do whatever they can to keep passengers happy. In some situations, they may be able to provide a free movie on board for passengers or a meal voucher at the gate. Overall, they'll do whatever they can to make the flight more enjoyable for its customers. In other transit news, the MBTA has been running on schedule this week, and 91% of the morning's commuting trains have been running on time. And Governor Charlie Baker says that he is satisfied that the trains are withstanding this winter. Reporting live from the Boston Common, I'm Lauren Barabee. Back to you, Steph and Michaela.
Thank you, Lauren. With this past weekend's weather in full force, the New Hampshire primary was also in full force. But did the snow stop voters from showing their support? SU News reporter Eleni Mata has more on that. Eleni?
The New Hampshire snow definitely didn't stop the first in the nation primary last night, bringing a record turnout. A lot of people racked in the streets, bumper to bumper, waiting to get to their destination to pick their Republican and Democratic nominee. Ultimately, Bernie Sanders won with 60%, beating Hillary Clinton, especially racking up the 18 to 30-year-old voters. Donald Trump ultimately won as well with 30% of the vote. Of course, with all the snow coming in, we'll see what other states are reacting to when their primary date comes along. For SU News, this is Eleni Mata, Studio 73. Back to you, Stephanie and Michaela.
Thank you, Eleni. A statement released from Suffolk University signals changes for the school. The board will be adopting new bylaws by 2016, and Chairman Andrew Meyer will not seek re-election after completing his term in May.
A committee will be formed to search for a new permanent president for the university. President McKenna will step down no later than fall 2017, and a new president will take her place. Suffolk University students want their voices to be heard over the decision against President Margaret McKenna. SU News reporter Katie Martineau has more on this. Katie?
I'm at Post Office Square where just last week students braved the snow and cold to show their support for President McKenna and to let the Board of Trustees know that their voices matter.
By your support, not just of me, but of this place.
Students were going to rally regardless, but they got a special surprise.
We have come to an agreement that I think is in the best interest of the institution, and I think that I can't tell you what it is, and I do think it is something I have proposed, and it is, I think, good for the institution and good for me and good for you.
Despite hearing a deal had been struck, students couldn't be stopped from taking a step in the right direction.
So it's really awesome to see faculty, administration, staff, and students all come together, including alumni, as one giant group to say we are Suffolk and we are here and we care about what's going on in our university.
After marching 2 blocks, students and faculty stood outside in heavy snow and 20-degree temperatures for over an hour to make their voices heard.
We are Suffolk! We are Suffolk! We are Suffolk!
Boston police stood by to keep them safe and moving in order to avoid loitering charges. Behind me at One Post Office Square, the Board of Trustees is deciding whether or not to fire President McKenna. Students were out here marching for over an hour, voicing their support for her. And now they are marching back to campus, waiting for word on what happens. Despite how cold the students were, they felt their efforts were justified. Students were not satisfied with the outcome of the meeting, and they will hold another rally later this week. Coming up, Casey Hall has a report about those who marched with the students. Back to you, Michaela and Steph.
Thank you, Katie. Stay with us. Coming up next, we have a report on the SGA's reaction to the McKenna-Myers situation and an interview with a Suffolk student who had a close-up view of the Super Bowl.
Oh, look, a redhead. Staring contest. You still got it. I know.
Come alive with the forest.
The dad was cute.
You were looking right at us. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you, freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it. It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Did you check? Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. Got it. No?
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early.
You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back. I'm Stephanie Arante.
And I'm Michaela Pyers. Let's join Katie Martineau once again, who's live at Post Office Square, where she has more on the McKenna rally. Katie?
Students were not the only ones battling the cold last week during the rally for President McKenna. SU News reporter Casey Hall saw many faculty showing their support as well.
Some faculty rallied in the warm lobby of 73 Tremont in support of President McKenna. They moved into the snow-crowded streets to have their voices heard. Students sparked this protest, but faculty filled behind to give their support as well.
This is a great turnout. It's always been very easy to throw a party at Suffolk and have no one come. So it's really great to see so many students, so many faculty, so many staff here, all as part of one Suffolk, one university.
Many different faculty braved the cold, not only for the support of the president, but for what it means to be a part of Suffolk University.
Real Suffolk is the students and the faculty and the staff who are trying to provide an education, do research, and we need to get back to that.
The fight will not end here for students and faculty. Both Margaret McKenna and Andrew Meyer are stepping down. It may take some time before the university is back on a clear path. The storm is not over for now. Students will continue to step out and have their voices heard. Casey Hall, Studio 73 News.
Students, faculty, and alumni are all joining together to make sure that their voices continue to be heard. Back to you, Michaela and Steph.
Thank you, Katie. Suffolk University students held a student government meeting this past week to discuss the issues revolving around President Margaret McKenna. SU News reporter Victoria Meneses has the story. Victoria?
Students at Suffolk University weren't afraid to take a stand at a student government meeting. And they found a way to, they also student leaders at Suffolk University took a stand, and they weren't afraid to show the board a strong message.
Student leaders at Suffolk University call for the resignation of Chairman Andrew Meyer from the Board of Trustees, effective immediately.
No. Jake? No. Josh?
No.
Morgan?
No. A vote of no confidence was declared at Thursday's meeting, where students voiced their concerns about the board.
Their bylaws haven't been revised. Their minutes aren't public to us. I mean, we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. And so I think that's the bigger issue, and this has all been under the leadership of Andrew Meyer.
This vote has support beyond the student body. Former SGA president and Suffolk alum Jared Kane also supports their decision.
I think that the Student Government Association has taken a clear stance. It's fairly in line with what we as alumni are asking for, and that is that the Board of Trustees be held accountable for the integrity and stability of the university.
The State Attorney General also took notice of the board's outdated bylaws and lack of communication with administration. These oversights could cost the university their accreditation. Failure to pass accreditation, the university could lose financial aid funds from the state.
Part of Suffolk is being someone who works really, really hard for what we have. So if we lose financial aid, we'll have not just a transfer rate, I don't even know if we'll have enough enrollment here.
For now, one thing still holds true: the students' support of President Margaret McKenna and their dedication to upholding Suffolk's legacy.
Come May, there'll be big changes for Suffolk University. Updated bylaws, a new chairman, and the search for a new president. Victoria Meneses reporting live for Studio 73. Back to you, Michaela and Stephanie.
Thank you, Katie. Here to talk more about the McKenna controversy is Vice President of Suffolk University's Student Government Association, Sean Walsh. Thanks for joining us, Sean.
I'm happy to be here.
So following last week's chaos, how satisfied is the SGA with the outcome?
Well, initially we weren't very pleased. We thought there was a lot more that could be done from the Board of Trustees standpoint. Obviously we were very disappointed that President McKenna won't be staying with us for the long term. But yesterday, as some students may have heard, President McKenna severed ties with Reading Communications, which was a huge demand of SGA and all the students and faculty and alumni. So the situation, it's ongoing, but we're very pleased that that step's been taken. Several prominent members of the board will be stepping down in May, which is another huge victory for students. So overall, we're very happy with how things have been going.
So you guys did break the ties with Reagan Communications. Did the university feel like they were being misrepresented by the?
Absolutely. We feel like Reading Communications has had too much of an influence on students' lives here at the school. I feel like there's a huge potential conflict of interest between the board and their use of Reading Communications. A hefty contract paid out to them every year, and several prominent members, their senior vice president rather, sits on the board, and we're really happy that that tie is really not here.
I know with all of this happening, a lot of students at Suffolk were able to get involved and voice their opinion. Are there any more things coming up that students will be able to voice their opinion and say what changes they'd like to be made at the school?
Absolutely. The dialogue between the students and the Board of Trustees has to continue. There's going to be a presidential search after May that President McKenna will be involved in, and we're really looking forward to the students being involved in that process. That's something we wanted. Obviously, we wanted President McKenna to stay, but because she's not able to stay, the students will have a huge voice in that process. And then just holding the Board of Trustees accountable. We have to make sure that they're doing what they said they're going to do, so we can have this era of stability that we really need.
All right, thank you so much for being with us, Sean. With all the administrative changes happening, Suffolk University has its fair share in the spotlight. Now it's DeVry University's turn. The for-profit college is being sued by the federal government on behalf of allegedly deceiving students about graduate employment. We have full coverage on that in the following week.
UMass Dartmouth recently launched a campaign to educate students about the dangers of drugs. 2 students overdosed in 2 days, with one being fatal. The other student is expected to recover. The university has implemented more resources for students, professors, and families.
Cause of the fatal crane collapse in the Tribeca area of Lower Manhattan is under investigation following last Friday's incident. The large construction crane was being lowered in that area, but strong winds forced the crane to collapse, landing on the street below. 1 pedestrian was struck and killed by the impact. 3 others were hurt by debris. The New York City officials are working to determine what caused the crane to collapse. Up next, Rebecca Eshu joins to tell us what is to expect for the weather in the upcoming week. And the biggest football game of the season just passed, and we have someone who saw backstage secrets of what went down in studio next.
Heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
Sure, I look cute now, but when my owner lost his job, it was rough. I was living on the street, and one night, me and this Cocker Spaniel got into it so bad, I wound up looking like an ice cream cone. I cried a little bit, but thankfully I got rescued, so I'm running, I'm jumping, all back to my old self. And I'm ready to give unconditional love, even if you put a lampshade on my head.
Shauna, the Chipotle thing's on her.
I'm Michaela Pyers. After those nice few weeks of spring-like temperatures we had, it's beginning to look and feel a lot like winter. SU News weather person Rebecca has more on that. Are we in for a rough winter, Rebecca?
I don't know. Let's take a look.
All right, so for today we're experiencing some low pressure in the northeast, which is causing a little mix of rain and snow. Right now, not so much. Earlier this morning we had a little bit of flurries, but now that's subsided. The sun is beginning to come out and it's starting to become a nice day. Temperatures for today are going to remain in the mid to upper 20s with a little bit of 30s in the Cape and Islands, looking like a pretty nice day. Continuing throughout the week, Thursday and Friday are looking like the two better days of the week. Thursday is going to remain dry, partly cloudy with a little bit of mix of snow and rain up to the north of us. Friday, the better of the two. It's going to be mostly sunny, a little mix of clouds, again, snow and rain to our north. And then this weekend, we're going to be experiencing some pretty cold temperatures for the Valentine's Day weekend, so make sure to bundle up. We'll be in the mid-teens. And then our next chance for a possible storm we'll be experiencing Monday night into Tuesday morning. This poses the threat for a mixture of snow and rain. Right now looking like more rain. We're going to be in the upper 40s, mid 40s, so right now it's looking like rain. So that'll continue throughout Tuesday night. Like I said, we'll have to keep an eye on the temperatures to see if it'll be snow or if it'll be rain. All right, back to you, Michaela and Stephanie.
Thanks, Rebecca. With Valentine's Day approaching, more people are turning to dating apps to spread the love, for their favorite presidential candidate, that is. 2 Bernie Sanders supporters were recently banned from Tinder after sending campaign messages to prospective matches. Both women received messages from the dating app saying that their accounts were locked because they were reported for too many times trying to get men to vote for Bernie Sanders.
Just in time for Valentine's Day, Polar Beverages has released a new seasonal flavor. Passion Fruit Peach Kiss is a special Valentine's-inspired small batch recipe and will only be available for a limited time. This is the second year in a row Worcester Beverage Company has released a special seasonal flavor. The flavor officially hit shelves last Monday, but Polar expects that the flavor will sell out before Valentine's Day. Chipotle is offering free food to gain back their customers.
That's right, the Mexican food chain restaurant closed all of its locations for a 4-hour food safety meeting on Monday. After more than 500 people fell ill with the multiple foodborne illnesses across the country in 2015, the chain has been working to regain customer trust. The company offered free burritos to customers who texted the word rain check to the company by 5 p.m. on Monday.
I'm sure you all joined in for Super Bowl 50 this past Sunday with the Denver Broncos beating the Carolina Panthers in a 24-10 game. Our own Eric Calander had a sideline view of Peyton Manning's second Super Bowl win. Welcome back, Eric.
Thank you.
You missed a lot of snow here in Boston. How was the weather out there in San Francisco?
Sunnier than it is here.
How was the game? What did you do while you were there?
The game, I was running with a handheld camera on the Broncos sideline holding their video cable going. So I was running up and down, back and forth.
Did you have on a Broncos jersey? Were you cheering for them?
I was not cheering for them. I was rooting for Cam Newton.
Oh, good. So how did you like the Super Bowl performance?
The halftime show?
Yeah.
It was good. I thought they did a good job. They rehearsed it for days in advance, so everything was just on. Went really well.
Did you watch them practicing?
Some of the days. 2 of the days I watched it, and yeah, they did really well and just turned out really well.
That's great. Well, we're glad to have you back here in Boston.
Right.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
A local Boston bar is closing its doors due to issues near Fenway. Find out where next.
If you don't fix them, sparks from dragging tow chains could cause a wildfire, and that could be scary. Only you can prevent wildfires.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. the ultimate party foul.
Welcome back. I'm Stephanie Arante.
And I'm Michaela Pyers.
Now joining us in the studio is Dior Sarah with an entertainment update. Dior?
Thank you, ladies. So, America's biggest toy company is changing the most famous body in the world. The 2016 Barbie doll includes 4 new body types, 7 skin tones, 22 eye colors, and 24 hairstyles. But Barbie isn't the only female bringing attention to a crowd. Say hello to Omo, a rare white giraffe in an African national park. There has only been 2 found in the past 20 years. And finally, more people watched the Super Bowl this weekend than Donald Trump in the Republican debate. I'm Dior Sarah with your entertainment update.
Thanks, Dior. That's actually pretty interesting. All the Barbies look the same when we were younger, so it's great that they're livening it up.
Yeah. Thought your iPhone could do it all? Apple just rolled out with a new feature that could give you a better night's sleep. More on that next.
Oh, look, a redhead. Staring contest. You still got it. I know.
Come alive with the forest.
The dad was cute.
They were looking right at us.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Sure, I look cute now, but when my owner lost his job, it was rough. I was living on the street, and one night, me and this Cocker Spaniel got into it so bad, I wound up looking like an ice cream cone. I cried a little bit, but thankfully I got rescued, so I'm running, I'm jumping, all back to my old self. And I'm ready to give unconditional love, even if you put a lampshade on my head.
My heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
I'm Stephanie Arante.
And I'm Michaela Pyers.
Apple is introducing a new feature called Night Shift, which allows your iOS device to automatically detect when you are in low light settings, dimming your screen from a light blue to a warmer color.
CNN has stated that studies show exposure to the blue light at night can lead to disruptive sleep. The beta version of this new feature will be released to developers on Monday. Apple has yet to confirm their public release.
Thanks for joining us this morning. Hope everyone has a great day. I'm Stephanie Arante.
And I'm Michaela Pyers. See you next week.